Oh, we are right.
You're okay, Anne.
Yes, fine. Yeah, fine. So hello, thanks very much for joining Lunch and Learn today. Today we have Nikki Baines from Visions Live. And so what we'll if you've got questions as Nikki's talking, please do drop them in the chat. And then we'll pick them up at the end. Or of course, if you want to come on your webcam at the end and ask questions, that's absolutely fine. But I think Nikki, we're planning about sort of 20-25 minutes for presentation and then questions at the end.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Thanks,
I'll
Anne.
hand over to you then.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So thank you for joining us in the middle of your lunch break as well. We need to kind of make sure you're fed and also hopefully try and learn a little bit as well about us and who we are and what we do. I won't be any longer than 30 minutes. I'll make sure the presentation is about, sort of 20 minutes, the demonstration, should I say, and then open up for questions after that. But I think Anne is going to ask you as well, or would have asked you to type into the chat if you have any questions, and then we can kind of perhaps go through them at the end, or just if you want to switch your webcams on at any point and ask a question, or do that at the end as well. What I'm going to do just now, I'm going to turn my webcam off in Zoom, and then I'm going to share my screen, and then you'll be able to see me in the actual Visions Live platform. So you'll be able to see what it looks like and what it does and how we're kind of using AI for better reporting and better insights. So I'm going to turn my webcam off in here now. Then I'll just share my screen with you. I've got a couple of views available. One is the moderator's view, and then the other is the respondent's view. So I've got two tabs open at the top here. If I click on this tab, this is going to be my moderator's view, and this is what the moderator would see. So when you join a session on the Visions Live platform, you can either join as a moderator from the Visions Live portal, or you can join via a link, and I've just joined via a link. But this is what, I'm just going to refresh just to make sure my webcam comes on. It's probably something to do with Zoom taking up my webcam initially, and then I've just turned it off. Ordinarily, if I click on this respondent link as well, you would see the moderator. This is the moderator's view. Oh, there we go. Should be able to see me down here now when this pops up. This is what the moderator sees when they join. So as I say, I've got two tabs open up here. This is the moderator's tab. This is the respondent's tab. So now you can see me down here as a moderator. When a respondent joins, they will go into the waiting room like this, and they are able to see themselves. A member of the Visions Live tech support team does tech checks in the waiting room just to make sure everything's working, make sure the webcams are working, the mics are working. All of those tech checks happen in the waiting room. Once everyone has been tech checked by a member of our team, they will ask the moderator if they are happy for them to invite the respondents in. If the moderator is happy, then the respondents will be invited in. And once our tech person has invited the respondents in, they don't then leave, they'll stay for the entire session. So they're there as live tech support, and they're just there in the background, making sure things run really smoothly. If anything were to go wrong, let's say a respondent drops out or something like that, then our tech person will jump on and deal with that really quickly. So there's no distraction to the rest of the group or to the moderator. And there's no additional charges or anything for that. It's all included. So what you can see here on my screen is the moderator's view. If this was an IDI, an interview, this is what you would see. So you'd see the moderator down here and then the respondent up here in a large view. If this was a focus group, you would see all of your respondents here in this space. So let's say you had maybe 6 or 8 people in this space. They would fill up this area here with their webcams. You've got an observer back room over here, which allows your observers to communicate with one another during the session. So you have a few different chats open, which you can pin if you want to. You've got the respondents chat here, which a moderator and respondents can type into, but observers cannot. The observer chat is your observer back room. So when an observer joins, they don't have a webcam or a mic because they're simply there to observe. They can't disrupt the flow of the group. They have the observer back room chat area to communicate with one another. So they can send messages to each other in this chat area here as a group, or they can send private messages to each other or private messages to the moderator. In the other section is where you would see if you are part of any private chats or any group chats. So, just like you can with WhatsApp, you're able to see, aren't you, or have group chats going on there. So the observer back room is a really great space for observers to communicate while the session is running and they're watching live. We do have an observer debrief channel as well at the end of the session. So once the session has ended, you can pick all of your respondents out, and then an audio channel will be turned on for observers. So you can have a debrief as well then on the platform. And again, there's no charge for that. It's completely free. While the session's running, the observers will be using this observer back room here. You can also see who is in the session. You've got people here, so you can see who's here. There are no observers here, it's just me and me. I'm here as a moderator and also as a respondent. What you've got up here in the left-hand corner is your stimulus that you're about to present in your session to your respondents. So think of this as a preview. So if you were presenting a PowerPoint presentation, as the presenter, you're able to have a little preview, aren't you, of the next slide that you're about to present. Nobody will see this until you choose to start presenting it. So in advance, I uploaded all of my PowerPoint slides in here. So I've got a few different slides that I'll sort of click through and have a look at. Nobody's seeing this but me as a moderator until I choose to start presenting it. So if I go to my first slide, the welcome slide, and start presenting this now, you'll be able to tell that this slide is being presented because it sort of highlights around the edges of it, and you can stop presenting. But you'll notice that when I started to present this as a moderator, the view for me didn't change. The view for the respondents did change if I click on my respondents view. So the respondents are now seeing this. So they're able to see the stimulus in a really large view. If this was a focus group, you'd have all of your respondent webcams popped down here. The reason the view doesn't change for a moderator or an observer when you start to present your stimulus is because the minute you start presenting your stimulus, you still want to be able to see your respondent reactions really clearly. So the minute I started presenting that and I clicked on start presenting, I can see my respondents' instant reactions. I can see them in a really large view, so I can see how they're reacting to that stimulus that I'm sharing. As I say, it needs to change for the respondents because they need to be able to see the stimulus in a large view. But for the moderators, they just want to see their respondents and how they're reacting to this. You can then click through. I'm clicking through here now, as I say, and they're not seeing this. I know I'm still presenting the welcome slide, but I can choose which slide I want to present here. So if I go to my next slide and then I start presenting this, my respondents are now seeing this piece of stimulus, and I've also attached a couple of activities to it because I can run in here polls, single select, multi-select, ranking exercises. I can run heat maps, respondent markups, lots of different ways for you to be able to get your respondents' thoughts on whatever the stimulus is that you're presenting. So for this particular piece of stim, I've attached a poll here. So when I click on this, I can see this now as a moderator. I can see what the poll is, and I'm going to start this activity. So what my respondents are now seeing is this. So they're seeing the stimulus here, as I say, in a large view, and they can see the poll here over on the left-hand side. So I, as a respondent, can now choose my answer. So this is a single select poll, so I'm just going to go for Netflix. You can randomize the order of these as well to help eliminate any order bias. But if I click on submit answer, I get a message to say, done, thank you for submitting your answer. And then what the moderator and the observers will see is this. So straight away, you can see exactly who has chosen which answer just by clicking on it. Whichever came out as the winner will be up at the top there with a gold trophy next to it. Whatever was second will have a silver trophy, and then obviously third for a bronze trophy. But if this was a focus group and you clicked on each one of these answers, you would see all of your respondents' names underneath and who voted for which answer. So really simple to see. Your observers can see the same. They can also click on there and see who voted. If you finish the activity, oh, one thing actually I will mention before we do that is you can see this little timer here ticking away on the poll. So this just gives you a really good idea as to how long an activity has been running for, and that's there for every single activity. So you can just keep an eye on the time. When you finish an activity, you can choose to present the results, restart the activity, or close it. If you want to present the results, because bearing in mind when respondents are voting in polls or doing any kind of markups or heat maps, they're only seeing their own responses. They don't see anyone else's. If you choose to present the results, you can choose whether to enable or disable that anonymization. So it's disabled here, which means if I present the results, respondents will be able to see who submitted each answer, but you can enable that anonymization as well. I'll show you a heat map now. So this one is just to give you an idea of how you might want to run markup exercises. We've called it a heat map, but literally it's just a way for your respondents to mark up the stimulus and for you to be able to see what they're really liking about a certain piece of stim and what they're not. So if I start this activity, for this particular one, I chose in advance the pins that I wanted them to use. So here, I've got a really, really smiley face all the way down to a really angry face, but you can choose your own pins. It could be thumbs up or thumbs down, ticks and crosses, sad face, smiley face. There is absolutely thousands and thousands of markup tools that you can choose from. I've seen lots of people use thumbs up and thumbs down. That's quite popular, but I've just gone for this one for mine. And I've also changed the labels. So this one says, love this. This one says, looks good. Not so sure about this place, not for me, and I would never go here. So I can now start placing my pins. You can enable comments if you want to, but you don't have to. I've just done that for this one because they're telling me they like something or dislike something, and I want to know why, so they can say, not for me. They can place as many pins as you want them to. You know, it's completely up to you, and you can spend as long as you need to on this, but you can also see with that little timer there just how long they've been spending on it. And one of the great things about this platform is that everything you do, everything your respondents do, and everything you see in your reports is linked to sentiment. So not only do you get sentiment analysis for your entire session, you also get sentiment per activity as well. So every markup or heat map or exercise that you run will have sentiment attached to it. This is what the moderator can see and what the observers will also see. So kind of hovering over there and being able to see their responses. If this was a focus group, you'd have two options up here, one being filter by sentiment and one being filter by respondent. So if you had a lot of pins on here placed by lots of different respondents, you can filter by respondent, or you can just filter by sentiment as well. So if you just want to see the love this or looks good, then you can take everything else away. You can do that in session, and you can also do that in your reports at the end of the session as well. And as I say, every single activity is linked to the sentiment behind it as well. We have highlighting tools as well. So for this particular slide, rather than placing pins on there, I might want them to highlight certain areas of this, and you do have a highlighter as well. I'm short on time in terms of the amount of time that we have today for me to go into all these details, but just to give you an idea, respondents are able to highlight a positive highlight, a negative highlight, or a neutral highlight. So anything they highlight as positive will be green, anything they highlight as neutral is yellow, and anything they highlight as red will be negative. So you'll be able to see all of that in the reports and link to the sentiment as well. The other thing respondents can do in here, just as you can with something like Teams or Zoom, you can react to different things. So if I go to my respondents view now and click on my webcam, I can add a reaction at any point in this session, and you'll see those reactions popping up in their webcams. And one of the really great things about that is because you can react in Teams, but it doesn't save them. So in the recording at the end of your session, anything that respondents have reacted to, I'm not sure why there's a delay there, anything that respondents have reacted to will appear in your play reel. So you can go and watch the session. You can click on all of these reactions and just watch them back and see what people were reacting to. Maybe you were playing a video in the session and you were asking them to give the thumbs up or thumbs down. You can see exactly how they rated that. You can also, as a moderator and as an observer, add a private note alongside your reaction as well, and you can filter through those and see those private notes. You've got a highlights reel. You can create cut out and snip these moments to create a highlights reel for that session as well. So again, just a really useful tool to have, and it's all built in, and there's no additional charges for any of this stuff either. The sentiment analysis that you get, as I say, you do get overall respondent sentiment from your entire session, but you also get sentiment per activity as well. What you would see in your reports, this is one side of the AI that we've built into the platform. So you would see when you go into your VisionsLive dashboard at the end of a session, different types of graphs and charts at the top of your screen.
One,
Oh,
two.
hello? Beneath the graphs and charts that you have at the top of your screen, you will see a full transcript of the entire session as well. And all of these graphs are interactive, so you can kind of click on different things in there. So if I see, for example, I've got this word cloud here, and let's say I wanted to see what was said about the word vitamins in this particular session. If I clicked on the word vitamins there, it would alter my transcripts below to show me all of the sentences that contain the word vitamins. And next to each one of those sentences, you've got a little webcam. So if you click on that webcam, you can actually watch that section back of the recording as well. So they're all interactive, and it's just a really good way for you to be able to locate these moments in your session that were said or that were discussed. You don't have to kind of watch an entire 60-minute or 90-minute video to locate these moments. It's really easy for you to find them and understand what was being said about them and the sentiment behind them as well. The other side of the AI is the lovely Val. So this is your intelligent AI assistant. Now, what Val does is when you have completed your session, you're presented with a few different tabs at the top here. So you've got participation chat, activity results, which is where you'll find all of those activities that you ran, all of your markups, your heat maps, your polls, all of the sentiment behind each one of those. Text analysis will take you to the slide I've just shown you with all of those charts and graphs and your transcripts in there. Recordings takes you to your recordings, and then you've got voice transcriptions in here as well. AI reports takes you to the lovely Val, and once your session ends, the AI has picked up the voice discussion from the entire session, and it writes it out into a report for you. So it's basically a summary report of the entire session. And if I click onto my next slide, I'll be able to show you what that looks like. So AI reports tab is there. It gives you key takeaways at the top, and then beneath that, you have a detailed summary of the entire session that's written out for you by the AI. So the key takeaways here for this particular session tell us that this focus group was centered around ice cream preferences. Participants shared insights on their ice cream consumption habits, tells you about a poll and ranking exercise that took place in there. Beneath the key takeaways, you've got this detailed summary. And if I click onto my next slide, I've took some screenshots of one that we had here. I'll just make it a little bit bigger so you can see that. So basically, the detailed summary is made up of an introduction here at the top. So we can see this session was attended by 2 participants, Monica and Chandler, both residing in New York. Key insights in this detailed summary here. So participants express strong preferences for, oh wow, that's really hard to say, for specific ice cream flavors. What a tongue twister that is. It also breaks it down into topics for you. So we've got topic 1 here, favorite ice cream flavors, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. So this particular session has been broken down into 6 topics, and you'll see each one of them here. So favorite ice cream flavors there. You can see the sentiment distribution for this topic is mainly positive, 60% there, 30% neutral, and 10% negative. And it says, you know, key terms such as cookie dough, mint choc chip, emotional insights, words like goat, greatest of all time, and disgusting were used. So each topic will have a report written for it. And then when you get towards the end of your report, it also gives you missed opportunities, recommendations, and a conclusion. So you'll be able to see in your missed opportunities what the AI has picked up on as being something that was perhaps missed and something that you could potentially use going forward. So I have seen this missed opportunities section used quite a lot with clients where they would look at this and think, okay, well, next time perhaps we'll include that a little bit more in our next group. Perhaps we'll talk about that a little bit more. This says the discussion briefly touched on environmental impacts, but did not explore it in depth. Limited representation with only 2 participants. So, you know, maybe we could include some more respondents. Also, you've got your recommendations there as well, and then a conclusion right at the end. So it does give you a very lengthy report. We're currently in the process of as well, in terms of the development of this, of being able to give you the option to add prompts to it. So basically, you know, give it a prompt as to what you want to get out of a particular session and what you were hoping for the AI to focus on in a particular session. So that's another part of the AI that we have as well. We also have AI live captions and transcripts in here. So these are the live captions, which I've now switched on so you can see them. So you can see at the bottom of my screen here, it's picking up everything I'm saying. When I set up this session, I chose English as my spoken language, but you can choose any language, whatever the spoken language is, you would choose that as the spoken language in the setup. If you want a transcript translated into another language, if it's an English speaking session, you choose the spoken language as English, and then you choose the translated language as whatever language you want it to be translated into for your transcript. And it works both ways. So if it's a Spanish speaking session, for example, you get a Spanish transcript and an English one. If you want to choose more languages in a session, you can do that, and you can choose a number of different languages that are available. And what this will do is translate your live captions. So you can see I'm currently speaking in English and my live captions are presented in English. But let's say I wanted them to be in, I don't know, have we got French in here? French. So now everything I'm saying is being translated into French, and you can see that at the bottom of the screen. Now, this isn't to replace a human simultaneous translator at all, but I have seen this used before because observers can choose their own live captions and their own language for that, basically, to help observers. Maybe you've got a session running where you've got people observing and English isn't their first language. they can choose then their own language and read along, you know, and it might just help them a little. We did actually add these live captions initially for those who were hard of hearing, but we have adapted them, you know, along the way and over time to include the translations as well. So it's not, you know, the only thing I would say is that it's AI generated. So I suppose it's never going to be 100% accurate or as accurate as a human simultaneous translator, but it's a nice to have and you've got it there as an option. And again, like I say, there's no additional charges for any of this. So everything that you have seen in here, whether it's the AI reports, the features, the different types of activities you can do with your respondents, the live tech support for every session, it's all included. There's no sort of add-ons or, okay, well, you can have the platform, but you need to pay extra for the AI report. So you need to pay extra for the Observer Debrief channel or anything like that. I'll go through just a few of these points on here because I know we're kind of getting towards the end and I want people to have the option to ask questions if needed. But I'll go through some of the pre-session, in-session and additional benefits. So if you were to run a project with us, you would have a dedicated project manager who would give you full training on the platform. It's very intuitive, it's very simple to use, but you would have that free training for your moderators or whoever needs it. And you can have that as many times as you need. I know there are some platforms out there similar to ours where they kind of say you can have one free training session at the start and then you have to pay for any additional ones from a human. But you can be trained as many times as needed. You do get that free live tech support for every group or IDI that you run. You can choose the spoken language and translations, access from any device and any browser, so mobile phones, desktop, laptop, PC. You've also got the option to choose where your data is stored. So that's really useful to have these servers around the world when you're setting up your groups or your interviews. You can choose where your data is stored. So if you're in the US, choose a server in the US. If you're in Australia, choose a server in Australia. It's just really useful to have. The in-session stuff that you have, you've got your Secure Observer backroom, which we've had a look at, your pin and highlight heat maps, image collections, polls, screen sharing, reactions, videos, translated live captions, and we do have a dual audio channel built in as well for simultaneous translation. With regards to your additional benefits, you've got MP4 and MP3 recordings, sentiment activity results, Val for your summary reports and key takeaways. You've got individual session reports, but also project-wide. So let's say you had a project with 10 focus groups in it. You would have a report for each individual group that you ran, but then you'd also have a combined view of all 10 focus groups together. So you'd have a summary report for all of those groups combined, any kind of activities that you ran all combined across the 10 groups or interviews or however many it was within that project. You get your transcripts. We've got 24/7 support. So whenever your session is running, you'll always have somebody on the end of a phone, on the end of an email, live tech support on the session. We've got a team in New Zealand as well as in the UK and in Greece. So you'll be covered regardless of what time of day it is. We are ISO 27001 and 9001 certified. We have both pay-as-you-go and subscription pricing, and we do not charge any cancellation fees. We charge in 15-minute increments as well instead of by the hour. And we will also, for any ICG members, we're offering 15% discount on, if you were to run a project with us, you would get 15% discount off that. We're always happy to be flexible when it comes to the price. If you need a discount or you've got a particular budget for a project and you want us to fit within that, we will always do our best for you. And again, as I say, it's either pay as you go just for ad hoc projects, or we can look at subscriptions as well. It's completely up to you. And I've literally waffled on at you now for a good 20 minutes. I feel like I've, whistle-stop tour there. Hopefully it's been okay and I haven't been speaking too fast. I do appreciate that I'm a fast talker, but I just have so much to say and I want to get it all in. But I'm going to stop talking now and I'm going to open up to some questions if anybody has them.
Thank you, Nikki. It didn't sound like waffle to me. It sounds
good.
like lots has changed on the platform.
Since you last saw it on, yeah, I'm sure, but thank you.
We've got a couple of questions. Jeff has asked, how does the transcript appear for a live group? Does it split between participant 1, participant 2, etc., and timestamp? What happens when several people talk animatedly together?
That's a really good question. So it is time-stamped and it will have the names of your respondents. It doesn't really allow for respondents to kind of talk over one another necessarily. So you'll always see your transcript laid out exactly as it was said. You'll see the name of the person who said it, and yes, it is time-stamped as well. So yeah, I completely understand what you mean, though. It's sometimes difficult when everybody's sort of talking over one another, but it'll always pick up what people are saying. It'll be listed in that way in the transcript.
Okay, fantastic. Jeff, does that cover that for you?
Thank you. Yes.
No problem. Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, Holger has asked, which data center locations are available? Is Brazil available? Is this only for data storage? Are these locations also available for the actual streaming regarding delays, jitter, ping, etc.?
That's right, yes, for both. So we have servers in Australia, Southeast Asia, the US, Canada, and Europe. That's where our servers are. We can always add servers as well. So if you wanted a server in a certain location, we've done that. We did that quite a couple of years ago for our, some of our clients in Canada. They needed a server actually in Canada, and we only had one in the US. So we just added one. It doesn't take much for us to do. And it is for both. So it's for, obviously, if you've got some groups running in the US and you choose the US server, that's important because it'll help with any kind of, connection issues if there were any. But it is also for data security as well. So the data is stored in that country, particularly for Australia. The data needs to be stored in their country. So yeah, for both reasons, I would say, if that answers your question, Holger.
Does it,
Yeah,
Holger?
okay, thank you. Yeah, we have the same situation as Australia, same laws, more or less, GDPR
Yes.
similar, and so yeah.
Okay, great.
Graham also has asked, how is the sentiment analysis measured through the length of the session, i.e. beyond when people are using emojis?
So the sentiment analysis that you saw where it was sort of different graphs, that's the respondent sentiment. And it doesn't pick up what the moderator's saying, it's purely respondent sentiment. And that's kind of more for the discussion, for the voice discussion. So that part of the sentiment analysis is based on the discussion and what people are actually saying. The sentiment per activity is based on the kind of emojis that you choose, but you link those emojis to, there are 5 different sentiment options. You can turn them off. It kind of starts with very positive, neutral, negative, and very negative. So let's say you just want to turn off the very positive, turn off the very negative, and just have positive, neutral, negative. You then place the type of emoji you want on that. So you would have maybe thumbs up for positive, thumbs down for negative, and that's how it's sort of linked into your activities having that sentiment per activity. But then the sentiment analysis overall is picked up from the voice discussion. I hope that answers the question.
So the sentiment analysis is based on the words that people.
That's right. Yeah,
I see.
And it's picked up by an AI algorithm, sentiment analysis AI algorithm from the words, but then the sentiment per activity is linked to the options that you've chosen from very positive to very negative.
Thanks.
No problem.
Debbie's asked, can you give a rough idea of cost, e.g. for 4 times 90-minute groups, if that's possible?
I can, Debbie. It depends where you are because we have different rate cards in different currencies. If it's UK, I can give you an idea for that. Or where are you, Debbie? And also, you would get a 15% discount if you worked with us. So you said
UK. This is about UK.
Yeah, from the UK. So did you say 4 90-minute groups?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So that would be with everything that you've seen today, including your sort of live tech support as well, your project manager, your training, all of the features, all of the AI, everything that you've seen. The cost would be for 4 90-minute groups, £1,560. But as I say, I'm always really happy to be flexible when it comes to the price. If that's out of your budget, just let me know. You can always pop me an email and I'll work on a project by project basis and just say, well, no problem if that's out of your budget. Let me know what we can work with. I mean, Anne will vouch for that. Anne's worked with us before in the past, and I've always kind of done my best to fit within budgets or, just give discounts where I can.
And is that price that you just quoted, Nikki, is that before the 15% that you'll offer?
Before, yes. So if I did minus 15%, that would be 1,326. But again, if I need to make it fit into 1,000, I'll make it fit into 1,000. I think I never want people to kind of think that, if I send them a rate card, that's the set price. You can always contact me for a particular project, for a particular budget, and I'll do my best to work within it.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? I think that's exhausted everything in the chat, but we've got a couple of minutes if anyone's got any burning questions. Oh, Jeff's asking, do you help on recruitment?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so I probably should have mentioned that, Jeff. I've been too busy waffling on for that 20 minutes trying to fit the platform in. And I didn't say about we offer a full service. So although we provide a platform, we do also have a global recruiter network, a global moderator network. So if you need us to provide a full service, if you need us to help you get respondents, we can do that. We do have a lot of clients who come to us and they say, I just want to use the platform. Can you give me some cost for the platform? I'm going to do my own recruitment. I'm going to do my own moderation. But then we also have a lot of clients who say, please, can you give me the cost for the platform and get me some cost for recruitment as well and send a brief across to us. And then we put that out to our recruiter network. So we can get respondents all over the world. So yeah, we can be as hands-on or as hands-off as you want us to be. I always say in terms of that, whether some people use it as very much a DIY platform and they log in, they set up their own sessions, and then other people want us to do the recruitment and moderation and things for them as well. And translations and transcriptions, we can provide a full service.
That's great to know. Could you share your email in the chat for everybody? Because I didn't see it on a chart anywhere.
Didn't know whether it was going to be shared with or by the ICG, but I can certainly pop that in here. You would also find me on LinkedIn on there, but I've just popped my email in the chat now.
Okay, we are just about out of time. We've got a minute if anybody has got anything else that they want to ask. But otherwise, I will just say John's added some information on the sentiment analysis within the chat, so that will come out with the recording. And we'll also circulate details of how to take advantage of that discount that Nikki talked about when we circulate the recording.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for sitting with me in your lunch break and listening to me waffle on for 30 minutes. I hope it was okay for you all. And if you have any questions at all, you've got my email. Just please get in touch and let me know.
That's great.
Thanks,
Thank you very much, Nikki.
Great
Thanks,
session.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.